Hey guys, welcome to the Playbook UX channel, your source for all things product and UX. In this video, I will be covering the definition of a customer journey map and when to use it, preparing the data, materials, and people for a customer journey workshop, components of a customer journey map, creating the template deliverables for your customer journey, and your role as a facilitator. I also included a link to a downloadable customer journey map in the description. Alright, let's jump into it. What is a customer journey workshop? The customer journey workshop is a process of laying out the steps a customer takes, along with the series of touch points and feelings your customer has towards your product or service. A journey mapping workshop helps companies do 3 things. 1. Facilitate a common understanding between team members. 2. Identify the gaps in the customer experience. And 3. Explore potential new opportunities. In order to build products your customers love, you need to understand what they're experiencing when they interact with your product or service. In this video, we are going to be focusing on a high-level, end-to-end customer journey map. However, there are many different types of customer journey maps, and I outline the different types in another video if you want to learn more. So prior to starting the workshop, you want to make sure you have a few things prepared to make it successful. First, you should identify your primary persona. When working in customer experience design, it is important to focus on 1 or 2 primary customers. Other disciplines like marketing will have many personas, each having different demographics and characteristics that they can target. For UX, let's focus on targeting 1 persona that represents your main customer. Second, you should gather as much research as you can and make sure everyone in the room is briefed on the latest research. You can pull information from previous customer satisfaction surveys, support logs, analytics, competitive intelligence, and any other previous customer research you have conducted. I will touch on the specifics of each type of research in another video, but you can use research like moderated interviews, unmoderated interviews, contextual inquiries, surveys, diary studies, card sorting, and so on. It's important to make sure everyone in the workshop has a good base understanding of the customer you are creating the journey for. If you're starting without any research, we would recommend you go back and do some research to guide your workshop. Next, you should assemble the dream team. You're going to want people representing all functional areas of the business, including development, design, marketing, and operations. This will be different for every company, but think about key areas of your product or service and make sure people from those departments are participating. Ideally, you want a comprehensive team, but you don't want more than 8 people. More than 8 people can derail productivity. Lastly, you should prepare the materials. It is often helpful to have a template to work from. There are multiple different templates that you can use, but most of them have relatively the same components and will get the job done. In this video, we're going to start with the basics. However, feel free to customize it to meet the needs of your organization. It is also helpful to have a big whiteboard or printout of the template to stick on a wall. During the workshop, you should give everyone in the room a pad of sticky notes and markers. Let's jump into the template. The customer journey map template is a large grid. Across the top of the grid, it outlines the different stages the customer goes through while engaging with your product or service. Moving across the columns. The first box is the awareness stage, where the customer is trying to learn about the potential new solutions to their problem and recognizing a need. Next, we have the researching stage, where the customer is researching potential solutions. This varies widely by product. Some products customers typically make instant purchasing decisions, where other products customers spend endless hours researching, since there may be high switching costs. Next is the selection stage. This is where the customer makes the conscious decision to use your product. After that, we have the delivery stage. Once the customer has selected your product, how do they receive it? What happens? Lastly, we have the follow-up stage. What follow-up does the company do after the customer has consumed the product or service? Here, you want to focus on how do we retain customers or push them into being an advocate of your product. Let's dive into what's contained in the rows. We're going to start with what the customer is doing during each of the stages that we just listed. Write down the customer's behaviors and actions. Next, we want to understand what the customer is thinking. What are their thoughts, feelings, motivations, or needs at each stage? Are there any questions they need answered? Next, we have touch points. Those are each point of interaction between the customer, product, and company. Is there any communication or messaging? How are you doing that? Are you using a mobile app or website, or is it in person? Then we have customer pains. What things do we know are pains for the customer at each stage of the process? Our goal in outlining these pains is to address them and find solutions for them. The last row is opportunities. This is a summary of the problems and questions customers have, as well as identifying potential opportunities that you can deliver to your customer. These are your action steps coming out of the customer journey and drive your product roadmap and research opportunities. The facilitator role is extremely important. The facilitator encourages everyone in the group to collaborate and keeps the meeting on track. As a facilitator, you should start by having a group brainstorm, using the boxes as guidelines, starting with the awareness stage. The group can write out each activity on a sticky note, paste it in that box on the journey mapping template. You're going to have to keep moving box by box until you finish the journey map. Your goal is to have everyone working together and feeding off one another. Following the workshop, you should convert everything written on the sticky notes into a shareable document. Also, remember that the customer journey map is a living document and it should evolve and change as the product or service matures. Make sure to display the output in a prominent place in your office, and it should be referred to often. That's all we have in this video. Make sure to subscribe for more insights on product and UX.